Alright, tonight's homework we are looking at the three different types of functions. So we have three different tables. So the first thing that we want to do is look at the change. How are each of these tables changing? So how do we go from -10 to -2, -2 to 6, 6 to 14, 14 to 22. So from -10 to 2, we add 8. From -2 to 6, we add 8. From 6 to 14, we add 8, and 14 to 22, we add 8. So what we notice is that these are all the same. This is our first change. So they're all the same. So since it's the first change is all the same, we know that this is linear. So our function type is linear. So linear, it has that constant first difference. So it has a constant first difference, and this time the difference, the first change, is adding by 8, so it's of +8. So it has a constant first difference of adding by 8. So we have to look at the change, the pattern, since it's all +8, it's linear. To get our equation, we can go in the calculator, and we can go to stat. We want to edit. List 1, we're going to type in -2, 0, 2, 4, 6, list 2, -10, -2, 6, 14, 22, and then stat over to calc. Now since we said it's linear, we want number 4 because that's our linear regression, so we want number 4, enter, did list 1, list 2, and now we can calculate, and it tells us it's y equals, it's going to be 4x minus 2. So we can type in our equation, which will be y equals 4x minus 2. For the second function, we have our table. We do the same thing. We look at our change. Well, how do we go from 24 to 6? Well, that's subtracting by 18. So it's going down by 18. From 6 to 0, subtracting by 6. 0 to 6, we're adding by 6. And 6 to 24, we're adding by 18. Well, this is our first change, and if we notice here, some are adding, some are subtracting, they're not the same, so we can check it again. Now we look at how do we go from -18 to -6, add by 12, -6 to 6, we add by 12, and 6 to 18, we add by 12. Now this is our second change, and what we notice here is that each one is +12. So these are all the same for the second change. So we know that this is going to be our quadratic. So what we know about a quadratic equation it has a constant second difference. So linear was a first difference, quadratic is a second difference, and this is it's +12 of adding by 12. Once again, to get the equation, we're going to do the same steps. So I'm going to clear out my memory. So second plus 7, 1, 2. We cleared out the memory, and we go back to stat. And we edit. And we type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 24. Enter. 6, 0, 6, 24. I type in my numbers, I go back to stat, over to calculate. Now this time we say it was quadratic, so we want number 5 for our quadratic equation. We did list 1, list 2, and we calculate it, and it tells us we get ax squared plus bx plus c. Well, a is 6, B is negative 36, and C is 54. So we can write our equation, which will be y equals 6x squared minus 36x plus 54. We just substitute the values of a, b, and c in for a, b, and c. And that's how we get 6x squared minus 36x plus 54. In the last one, we have our final table here. So for the third table, we look at the pattern again. So we just, well, how we go from 0 to 4? That's plus 4. 4 to 12, plus 8. 12 to 28, plus 16. 28 to 60, plus 32. So this was our first change. And they're not the same. But what we notice here is that, well, 4, 8, 16, 32, what we actually notice is that this is multiplying by 2, multiplying by 2, and multiplying by 2. So each time it's multiplying by 2. So whether it's our first change, second change, or multiplying, so since we're multiplying, it has to be exponential. So it's exponential since we're multiplying. So what we know is it's exponential. All right, we are multiplying the pattern. The pattern is multiplying by 2 each second change. So the second change is multiplying by 2. So since we're multiplying, has to be exponential. And to get the equation, we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do clear out my memory. Second plus 7, 1, 2. And I go back to stat. And I edit. List 1, I have negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1. And then we have 0, 4, 12, 28, 60. So I type in my numbers, I go to stat, over to calculate, and now I'm looking for exponential, well, linear, quadratic. I'm looking for the one that says EXP. It's number 0, so I go to 0 for exponential. I hit enter. I did list 1, list 2, and now we can calculate. So I hit enter, and what did we mess up? So negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 0, 4, 12, 28, and 60. Why did we get this error? Good question. Alright, I'm not sure why it's giving us this error, but so we know that this is exponential because it's multiplying by 2 each time. So we look at it, it has our pattern multiplying by 2, it's our second change, and yeah.